Hi guys, this is Tech Howdy. I welcome you to another video tutorial on creating an ASP.NET Core application where we are creating a featured image slider using Angular 8. In the last video tutorial, we applied CSS styling to our featured image slider component. Now what we want to do is go ahead and start coding the Angular code in our component. So first thing that we want to do is we need to create a object that will help us to consume the gallery service. We have a method inside the gallery service which is called as get featured home gallery, which basically gets all the images for the featured home page. So now I'm going to create a private object, call it as gallery service, which is of type gallery service. Now, as you see, the import statement has been added automatically. Next thing that I want to do is I want to go and create a method. Now this method will be called as load featured image, or I'll call it featured home gallery, because specifically we are loading the featured home page gallery. So I'm going to call it featured home gallery. Now the next thing that we want to do is inside this method, we want to consume the gallery service method. So using the gallery service object, we will use the get home featured gallery method, and then whatever result we receive from this method, we are going to subscribe to it since it's an observable type. And now what we want to do is the result that we receive, we are going to receive an object in this result. So let's first look at it in the browser to see what we receive before we do anything with the result. So I'm going to just display the result, and also I'm going to call this method inside the ng on it so it gets initialized when the page loads. And one more thing that you want to do is you want to go to your app module. Since we have used HTTP client module in gallery service, we need to import it here. So import HTTP client module from angular/common/HTTP. Use the same library reference. That's because there is HTTP client modules available in other packages. After you have imported it, make sure you add it to the imports array, HTTP client module. Once you have added it to the imports array, any component or service that is trying to use it can import it from the app module. Now let's save these changes and go back to our browser. So if you look at the browser, our application is loaded. There's no errors. There's no HTTP client error anymore. That's because we have imported the module. We see something is being returned. There's an array being returned, but we cannot see any values. Even though we're trying to console.log the result, all we can see is bunch of arrays that's being returned, and we need to get our values. To get our values, we need to loop through these array or object that we have received and get our values out of it. So what we are going to do here is to loop, we are going to use the jQuery for each method. And to use jQuery in Angular, first thing that we want to do, and I'm using jQuery because my featured image slider was created using jQuery in the backend of the admin panel. So I can use a similar code over here, but you can also use Angular for each loop. So it's not specifically that you have to use jQuery. You can use Angular loop as well, but I'm using for each loop for jQuery. That's because Bootstrap also uses jQuery, and I am going to use Bootstrap code that is going to be generated dynamically to load the gallery. That's why it makes sense for me to use it. So now, first thing that I want to do to import, I need to go to the terminal. Let's stop this application from running and then go to our terminal, cd into the client app, and now let's add some jQuery code. So first thing that we want to do is import jQuery. So npm install at types jQuery, and then hit enter. So we have installed it, and we've got an error saying that permission was denied. So I'm going to clear this, and all I want to do is run the same command but with sudo, because I'm on a Mac and I keep forgetting that. So now I will have permissions to install it in my package, and now jQuery is types has been installed. So next thing that I want to do is add the import statement. To use jQuery, the way we will import it is import everything. For that, we'll use the star sign as dollar from jQuery. So whenever we want to use any methods or classes from jQuery, what we want to do, we will use a dollar symbol. So is the naming convention regularly used in jQuery, which defines jQuery. So what we are saying, import everything and as this dollar symbol. So now when we want to use the jQuery for each loop, we can just do it the way we usually do, $.each, and then we can use it. So now inside this $.each method, what we want to do is first we want to pass the result object so that we can loop on each item inside it. And then we will use a callback function. In this callback function, what we want to do is pass each item from the result as key and value. Now we have each item as key and value. So what we want to do, we want to print these items on our console to see what exactly we are receiving. So for the sake of just printing the values, I'm going to print the image caption, since that's what's being returned. If I go to my gallery controller, I'm returning image caption as image underscore caption. So it's going to be returned all in lowercase. So don't worry about the casing over here. So value.image caption should be returned. So I'm going to save this. Now let's go to a browser and check if we receive some values. So now I am here on the browser, and if I refresh this page, I've set a breakpoint over here, guys. So now that's the API that we are calling. The gallery service is calling this API. Now I'm just going to quickly run to the result, and I'm going to hit OK. So that goes back to our browser, and in the browser I don't see any results, and that's because in my database, if you notice, the reason why we don't see any result for now when I'm demonstrating is I have set the values of is featured and is active to 0. In order for us to see some values, we need to have all these conditions to be true. That is, the gallery should be active, it should be featured, and the featured type should match the featured type that the user is requesting. So featured type is featured home, but the feature type here, I forgot to add it when I had created it. So I'm going to add it now, and I'm going to change the value of the fishes gallery to 1, which means this gallery is now featured and it's a featured home gallery. So now I'm going to get one gallery returned when I try to execute this on the browser. So let's go back to the browser to execute the API. And now if you see, I've returned gallery service has returned one gallery which is featured, and it's the fishes gallery. Therefore, you see the image caption for the fishes gallery. If I had to make the other gallery also featured, I would see results from two galleries. But at a time, only one gallery can be featured, correct? You cannot have both the galleries featured on homepage. But let's say if I had done that, I would see a result with animals caption and fishes image caption. So the code works fine. Now we are able to see that jQuery that we are using is looping into this result that we are receiving, and it is displaying the image caption. Now what I want to do is I don't want to display the image caption, but I want to dynamically generate the galleries and print it on, show it on the home page. So to generate the bootstrap code for the carousel dynamically, I'm going to use jQuery as I mentioned. So all I'm doing is using the jQuery append method. I am appending the HTML code and I am creating a div with the class of, I'm targeting the div with the class of carousel indicators that I have inside the HTML, which is supposed to load this gallery. And then all I'm doing is the value that I'm receiving, I'm adding it or concatenating it between the appropriate div tags so that their values can be displayed like image caption, image description, and the image path itself. Now what I want to do is, before I save this, I just want to make one of the galleries not featured so I don't receive multiple results. So I'm just going to turn off the is active option for the animals gallery. Now I'm going to save this, go back to my browser, and now you can see that the fishes gallery result has been returned with the image captions and the description. So that's how I have it in my database. So I'm receiving it. And now you can see that the gallery is working. So I can just close this console and the images are being displayed. Now let's do one thing, make the animals gallery active uh, and make the fishes gallery not active. Go back and refresh, and we have the animals images loading now because this is the gallery that's active, and we have this option to activate and deactivate the galleries based on what we want in the admin panel. We have already created that, but I did it from the database just to demonstrate. So you can go back to your admin panel for featured slider, go to your preview tab, or go to, sorry, to your actions tab, and we have the animals gallery active currently. See, database has already picked it, the backend has already picked it, and it's showing the check marks over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, just turn off the active option, save it, and make the fishes gallery active from here so we can see that all our functionality is working. Go back to our home page, hit enter, and the fishes gallery is now working. I didn't have to do it from the database. I could do it directly from here itself, from the backend. So in this way, we have implemented the feature to create featured image galleries and display them on our web pages from the admin panel backend. We have used a mixture of jQuery, Angular 8, and ASP.NET Core Web API to build this project, and we have completed this project now. And if you want to add additional fonts or you want to do any changes, you can do it at your end. You can import fonts and change the fonts of these gallery, and you can display it. If you want to change the description, as you know, you can do it from the back end. You want to change the CSS styling for the gallery, all you have to do is go to the featured components, featured slider component.css, and you can change the CSS styling for your featured image gallery over here. So that's it for this phase of the video tutorial series. We have completed this project. In the next project, or next phase, Let's implement in our admin panel authorization and authentication, which means we would have to use some password to log in. Based on the role, we will be able to see the view of the admin panel. So let's implement that in the next phase. We will be implementing authentication and authorization with JWT tokens in this project for admin panel, but that will be a new series, but we will use the same project template since we don't want to code everything again. So that's the phase 2. Please like and subscribe our channel Tech Howdy. Make sure that if you have any questions, use the comment section. I'll be pushing this code to DevOps repos. Once again, thank you very much.